The room went silent when Lauren said it. She's nobody. Maya stood near the doorway holding a small gift bag in both hands. She had heard Lauren say many cruel things before. But this time was different. There were almost 30 people in the room. Relatives, friends, and several guests who had traveled from across the country for Lauren's wedding. Everyone had heard her. Lauren smiled as if she had said something funny. A few people laughed. Maya did not. She simply looked at her younger sister. Then she looked at their parents. Her mother stared down at her plate. Her father said nothing. That silence hurt more than Lauren's words. Maya had spent years learning how to stay quiet. She had learned not to argue, not to explain, not to defend herself, especially when it came to her work. Her family thought they knew what she did. They were wrong. But Maya had never corrected them. And tonight she was beginning to wonder if that had been a mistake. Lauren's engagement party was supposed to be a happy evening. He was marrying Ethan. Ethan was a Navy SEAL. He was tall, calm, and serious. He rarely spoke about his military work. Lauren loved telling everyone about him. "My fiancé is a hero," she often said. He talked about his training, his medals, his travels, his discipline, and she loved watching people admire him. Maya had met Ethan only twice. Both times he had been polite, but he had never seemed especially interested in her. Tonight was different. Ethan kept looking at Maya. Not in a rude way, in a careful way, almost as if he was trying to remember something. Maya noticed. He wondered why. Then Lauren called everyone's attention to the table. "Everyone," she said, raising her glass, "I want to thank you for being here." People smiled. Lauren talked about her childhood. He talked about her parents. He talked about Ethan. Then she looked at Maya. "And of course my sister came." A few people looked at Maya. Lauren laughed. "Although I wasn't sure she would." Maya forced a small smile. Lauren continued. "Maya has always been different." Her mother shifted uncomfortably. Maya lowered her eyes. Lauren took another sip. "She doesn't really have much going on." Someone at the table laughed. Maya looked toward the window. She wanted to leave, but she stayed. Then a man sitting beside Ethan asked Maya a simple question. "So what do you do?" Maya opened her mouth. Before she could answer, Lauren spoke. "Oh, she works security." The man nodded. "Security?" Lauren laughed. "Yes. Nothing special." Maya looked at her. Lauren smiled. "She checks doors and watches cameras." Another laugh came from the table. Maya said nothing. The man looked embarrassed. "Oh, I see." Lauren leaned back. "Honestly, I don't know why she is so secretive about it." Maya's expression changed slightly. She had never been secretive because she was ashamed. She had been quiet because her work required it. There were things she could not discuss. People she could not name. Places she could not mention. But Lauren knew none of that. Or perhaps she did not care. Their father finally spoke. "Lauren, that's enough." Lauren looked surprised. "What?" "Don't embarrass your sister." Maya almost smiled. It was the first time her father had defended her. But Lauren was not finished. "I'm not embarrassing her." She looked around the room. "I'm just telling the truth." Maya quietly placed her gift bag on the table. "It's fine." Lauren looked at her. "See? She doesn't even care." Maya looked back. "Actually, I do." The smile disappeared from Lauren's face. For a moment the room became quiet. Maya took a breath. "I just don't want to argue at your engagement party." Lauren folded her arms. "You always do this." "Do what?" "Act like you're better than everyone." Maya stared at her. "I've never said that." "You don't have to." Lauren leaned closer. "You walk around acting mysterious. You never tell anyone what you do. You never talk about your friends. You never post anything." She laughed. "People probably think you're important." Maya said nothing. Lauren continued. "But you're not." Maya felt something inside her break. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Just enough to make her tired. She looked at her mother. "Mom." Her mother finally looked up. "What? Did you really believe what Lauren just said?" Her mother hesitated. That hesitation was an answer. Maya nodded slowly. "I understand." She turned toward the door. Then Ethan spoke. "Maya." She stopped. She looked back. Ethan was standing. He had not smiled once during the conversation. "Can I ask you something?" Maya nodded. "What is your last name?" She frowned. "Carter." Ethan froze. It was only for a second. But Maya noticed. His face had changed. He looked at one of the men sitting beside him. The man was older. He had gray hair and a military haircut. The two exchanged a quick glance. Then the older man looked at Maya. His eyes widened. Maya felt uncomfortable. Is something wrong? Neither man answered. Lauren laughed. Oh, don't worry. She waved her hand. Ethan's probably just trying to remember her. But Ethan was not looking at Lauren. He was still looking at Maya. Carter, he repeated quietly. Yes. Have you ever worked with military personnel? Maya's heart skipped. She kept her voice calm. Sometimes. Lauren laughed again. See? She makes everything sound important. Ethan ignored her. Have you ever been involved in an extraction operation? Maya looked at him. For the first time that evening she looked nervous. Why are you asking? Ethan's expression became serious. Because I think I know you. Maya shook her head. I don't think so. Ethan took one step closer. The older military man beside him stood as well. He whispered something into Ethan's ear. Ethan's eyes changed. Maya noticed. What did he say? Ethan did not answer. Instead he asked another question. Were you ever assigned to protect a team in the Mediterranean? Maya became completely still. Lauren laughed loudly. Oh my God. She looked around the room. This is exactly what I mean. He pointed at Maya. She wants everyone to think she's some kind of secret agent. Several people smiled. Maya did not. Ethan did not smile either. He looked at Maya for several long seconds. Then he turned toward the older man. Are you sure? The man nodded. I saw the file. Maya's face went pale. She had spent years making sure that file stayed buried. Nobody in her family knew about it. Nobody outside a small circle was supposed to know her name. Yet somehow tonight someone had recognized her. Ethan looked back at her. His voice became quiet. Ma'am. Maya's eyes narrowed. He almost never called people that. Why would you call me that? Ethan swallowed. Because the person I remember wasn't a security guard. The room went silent. Lauren stopped laughing. Maya said nothing. Ethan took another step. The person I remember saved my team. Maya's heart began pounding. She looked at the floor. She knew this moment would eventually come. She had only hoped it would happen somewhere else. Not here. Not in front of her family. And certainly not on the night her sister had called her nobody. Ethan's next words were barely above a whisper. I thought she was dead. Maya looked up. Their eyes met. And for the first time that night Lauren looked afraid. Because she suddenly realized something. She had spent years making fun of a woman whose real story she had never even tried to understand. And tomorrow was her wedding. But after what Ethan had just discovered, tomorrow was going to be very different. The room stayed silent after Ethan's words. I thought she was dead. Nobody moved. Lauren stared at her fiancé. Then she looked at Maya. For the first time that evening, there was no smile on her face. What are you talking about? Lauren asked. Ethan did not answer immediately. His eyes remained on Maya. Maya finally spoke. Ethan, please. Her voice was calm. But there was warning in it. Ethan understood. He stepped back. Of course. Lauren looked confused. Please what? Maya picked up her bag. Nothing. Lauren shook her head. No. You don't get to do that. Maya looked at her. Do what? Walk away after making everyone think you're some kind of hero. Maya's expression hardened. I didn't make anyone think anything. Lauren laughed. You never do. That's your favorite trick. Their mother quietly said, Lauren, stop. But Lauren was angry now. She felt the attention in the room moving away from her. That was something she could not stand. Tomorrow was supposed to be her perfect wedding. Everyone was supposed to be talking about her. Her dress. Her fiancé. Her future. Not Maya. Never Maya. Lauren stepped closer to her sister. So what is it? She asked. Maya said nothing. Were you really some kind of military agent? No. Then what did you do? Maya looked at Ethan. He remained silent. That silence made Lauren even more suspicious. She turned toward the guests. See. She spread her hands. She does this all the time. Maya frowned. Lauren. No. Let them hear it. Lauren pointed at her. She wants everyone to believe there is some big secret about her. A few guests looked uncomfortable. Lauren continued. She has been doing this for years. Maya felt the old pain return. She remembered being 17. Lauren had been 16. Their father had taken them both to a school event. Lauren had introduced Maya to her friends. This is my sister. Then after a pause she had added. She doesn't really do anything. Maya had laughed it off back then. He always did. But tonight felt different. Maybe because she was tired. Tired of pretending that the insults did not hurt. Tired of protecting people who never protected her. Tired of allowing her family to believe a lie simply because the truth was difficult to explain. So she said nothing. Lauren saw her silence as weakness. She smiled. That's what I thought. Then she turned toward Ethan. You should know something before tomorrow. Ethan looked at her. Lauren. My sister has always been jealous of me. Maya's eyes widened. That isn't true. Lauren ignored her. She never liked seeing me succeed. Lauren, stop. She hates that I'm marrying you. Ethan's expression changed. That's not what this is. How would you know? Because I know what jealousy looks like. He glanced at Maya. And this isn't it. Lauren's face tightened. What does that mean? Ethan did not answer. One of his friends quietly stepped beside him. The older military man who had recognized Maya earlier. He whispered something. Ethan nodded. Then he looked at Maya again. You should leave. Maya gave him a small smile. I was already planning to. Lauren immediately stepped in front of her. No. Maya stopped. Lauren's voice became cold. You don't get to ruin my night and walk away. Maya stared at her. I haven't ruined anything. You have. How? Because now everyone is asking questions. Maya looked around the room. Nobody was laughing anymore. That was what Lauren hated. The attention had changed. People were looking at Maya with curiosity. Not pity. Curiosity. Lauren could feel it. So she made a decision. She grabbed her phone. I'll show them. Maya's stomach tightened. Lauren, don't. Lauren smiled. Why? Maya stepped forward. Because you don't know what you're doing. Oh, I know exactly what I'm doing. Lauren opened her phone. She began scrolling through old messages. Then she connected her phone to the large television screen in the room. Maya's face changed. Lauren. A photograph appeared. It was Maya wearing an ordinary security uniform. Lauren had taken it months earlier. She had posted it in the family group chat with a caption. Look who thinks she's protecting the world. Several people laughed when they saw it. Maya remembered that day. She had ignored the message. Lauren changed the image. Another photograph appeared. Maya standing outside a building. Another. Maya sitting beside a security vehicle. Another. Maya wearing a plain black jacket. Lauren looked pleased. This is what she does. She turned toward the guests. She works security. Someone whispered. So? Lauren shrugged. Exactly. Then she looked at Maya. She wants everyone to think she's important. Maya's jaw tightened. I never said that. You didn't have to. Lauren walked closer. You've always acted like you're better than us. Maya shook her head. No. I stayed quiet because there are parts of my work I cannot discuss. Lauren laughed. There it is again. She looked at the room. She always has an excuse. Maya looked at her father. Dad, please stop this. Her father finally stood. Lauren, enough. Lauren turned toward him. You're defending her now? She is your sister. She has been lying to us for years. Maya's voice became quiet. I never lied. Lauren pointed at her. You told us nothing. There are things I couldn't tell you. Then why should anyone believe you? Maya had no answer. Not because Lauren was right, but because the truth could not be explained in a room full of people. Her work had involved private operations, sensitive names, protected information. She could not stand up and reveal everything just to win an argument with her sister. That was never how she had lived. Lauren knew she had trapped her. She smiled. See. She looked at everyone. She has nothing. Maya felt something inside her finally go quiet. Not anger. Not fear. Something else. He was done trying. He picked up her bag. Congratulations, Lauren. Then she walked toward the door. Lauren called after her. That's it. Maya stopped. Lauren smiled. Leaving again? Maya turned. No. She looked directly at her sister. I'm giving you what you wanted. What? A room where nobody talks about me. Then Maya walked out. The door closed behind her. Inside, Lauren smiled. She believed she had won. But Ethan was not smiling. Neither was the older military man. Ethan walked toward the television. He stared at the photographs Lauren had displayed. Then he pointed at one. Where did you get this? Lauren shrugged. My sister's social media. Ethan looked closer. It showed Maya standing outside a plain building. But Ethan recognized the building. His expression changed. Lauren. What? Do you know where this was taken? No. Ethan looked at his friend. The older man nodded slowly. It was the staging site. Lauren's smile disappeared. What staging site? Ethan looked at her. The operation where my team was rescued. Nobody spoke. Lauren stared at the screen. That can't be. Ethan pointed at Maya's photograph. She was there. Lauren shook her head. No. She was. She works security. Ethan's voice remained calm. You don't understand what you are looking at. He zoomed in on the photograph. There was a small mark on Maya's jacket. A symbol almost nobody would notice. But Ethan knew it. His friend knew it. It belonged to a specialized protection unit. Lauren stared at the screen. Her face slowly lost its color. But she never told anyone. Ethan answered quietly. She wasn't supposed to. Then his phone vibrated. He looked at the screen. A message had arrived from an old military contact. It contained only one sentence. If that is Maya Carter, don't let her leave alone. Ethan immediately looked toward the door. Maya was already gone. He grabbed his jacket. Lauren watched him. Where are you going? Ethan didn't answer. He walked outside. Across the parking lot, Maya was getting into her car. Ethan called her name. She stopped. He approached slowly. Maya. She looked at him. What? Ethan held up his phone. You need to see this. Maya read the message. Her face became completely still. For several seconds she said nothing. Then she looked at Ethan. Who sent that? My former commander. Maya swallowed. Why? Ethan lowered his voice. He says your identity may have been exposed. Maya looked back at the building. Inside were her parents, her sister, and dozens of people who now believed there was a secret behind her life. She had spent years keeping that secret buried. Now it was beginning to surface. But there was something Ethan did not know. Maya had already suspected that someone was trying to expose her. And she knew exactly where it had started. She looked at Ethan. Before you ask me anything else. She paused. Ask your commander about the name Black Harbor. Ethan's face changed instantly. He knew that name. And Maya could tell from his expression that the past she had tried to bury was no longer coming back quietly. It was coming back for all of them. Maya stood beside her car and stared at Ethan. Neither of them spoke. The parking lot was almost empty now. Inside the building, Lauren's engagement party continued without them. But Maya knew the evening was over. Not because of Lauren. Not because of the insults. Because of one name. Black Harbor. Ethan had gone pale the moment Maya said it. He looked at his phone again. Then at her. Where did you hear that name? Maya's expression remained calm. I didn't hear it. Then how do you know it? Because I was there. Ethan took a slow breath. His face had changed. The friendly man from earlier was gone. Now he looked like a soldier again. Black Harbor wasn't supposed to be known outside a very small group. I know. Then why are you talking about it? Maya looked toward the building. Because someone has already started talking. Ethan understood. The message from his former commander. The photograph. The strange warning. Something was happening. And Maya had known it might happen one day. She just never expected it to happen at her sister's engagement party. Years earlier, Maya had lived a completely different life. Her family knew only the surface. They knew she worked in security. They knew she traveled sometimes. They knew she did not like talking about work. That was all. What they did not know was that Maya had spent years working in high-level protection. She had been trained to watch people. To notice danger before it happened. To keep calm when everyone else was afraid. Her job was not glamorous. There were no cameras. No interviews. No medals hanging on a wall. Most of the time nobody even knew she was there. That was the point. Maya had accepted that. She never needed applause. But there had been one operation that changed everything. Black Harbor. It had started with a simple protection assignment. A military team was moving through a dangerous area. Their location had been leaked. Someone wanted them trapped. Maya's team discovered the problem too late. The military unit was already surrounded. The commander had only minutes to make a decision. Maya had been the senior protection officer coordinating the escape. She had studied the roads, the buildings, the cameras, the enemy positions. Then she found a narrow route nobody else had noticed. She guided the team through it. One vehicle was damaged. Another was forced to stop. Maya stayed behind long enough to create a safe path. Among the men she helped was a young Navy SEAL named Ethan. He had been injured. He remembered almost nothing about the woman who helped him. Only her voice. Come, clear, taken. Keep moving. That was all she had said. But he remembered it. For years he wondered who she was. He had been told the person responsible for their escape could not be identified. Then Maya disappeared from the operation. Her name was removed from the public record. The report credited a larger team. Maya accepted that. She moved on. She never expected to meet Ethan again. And she certainly never expected him to become engaged to her sister. Ethan looked at her. So it really was you? Maya nodded. Yes. He shook his head. I spent years looking for the person who got us out. You shouldn't have. Why? Because it was over. For you maybe. Maya looked down. It was never about me. Ethan was quiet. Then he asked. What happened after Black Harbor? Maya's expression changed. That depends on who you ask. I am asking you. Maya took a breath. Someone inside the operation betrayed us. Ethan's eyes narrowed. We knew that. No. She looked directly at him. You knew there was a leak. Ethan waited. You never knew who caused it. Maya's voice became softer. I did. Ethan froze. Who? Maya did not answer. She looked toward the building again. My sister's wedding is tomorrow. I know. I don't want this to become about me. It already is. Maya shook her head. No. It is about someone else. Ethan stared at her. Who? Maya finally answered. Someone connected to my family. Ethan said nothing for several seconds. Then he asked. Your family? Maya nodded. I never had proof. But you had a suspicion. Yes. Who? Maya looked at him. Lauren. Ethan's expression changed immediately. No. I didn't say she was the person who betrayed us. Then why mention her? Because someone gave her information. Maya explained that months earlier, someone had begun asking questions about her. They wanted to know where she worked, who she knew, why she traveled. Lauren had repeated some of those questions without realizing how serious they were. Maya had ignored it. She thought it was jealousy. Now she wasn't sure. Ethan looked troubled. Do you think Lauren is involved? I don't know. Then why are you protecting her? Maya gave a tired smile. Because she is still my sister. Ethan shook his head. You don't owe her that. Maybe not. Maya opened her car door. But I don't want to accuse someone without proof. Ethan stopped her. Then find proof. Maya looked at him. I already started. She reached into her bag. Inside was a small black folder. She handed it to Ethan. He opened it. The first page contained several photographs. The same photographs Lauren had shown at the party. But Maya had highlighted something in one of them. A man was standing in the background. He was barely visible. Ethan leaned closer. Who is that? I don't know. You're sure? Yes. Ethan studied the man's face. Then his expression changed. I know him. Maya's heart sank. Who? Ethan turned the photograph around. That man worked with our intelligence team before Black Harbor. Maya stared at the image. Is he still alive? Ethan hesitated. Officially. Yes. No. Maya looked at him. What does that mean? He was listed as killed 2 years before the operation. Maya slowly took the photograph back. The room inside the building suddenly seemed very far away. Then why is he in this picture? Ethan had no answer. The next morning, Maya arrived at the wedding venue before sunrise. She did not sleep. Neither did Ethan. They had spent most of the night checking old records. They found almost nothing. But one thing stood out. Someone had accessed a restricted file 3 weeks earlier. The file was connected to Black Harbor. And the login belonged to someone outside the military. Maya stared at the screen. That's impossible. Ethan looked over. Why? Because the system requires a special access code. Who has that code? Maya paused. Only a few people. Ethan waited. Maya looked at him. One of them is retired. Who? He said the name. Ethan's eyes widened. He's your father's lawyer. Maya went completely still. Her family lawyer. The man who had handled her parents' business. The man who had known her family for decades. The man who had attended Lauren's engagement party. Maya suddenly understood why someone had been asking questions. Why Lauren had received photographs. Why her identity was beginning to surface. Someone was looking for something, and they were using Lauren to get close to it. The wedding ceremony began at noon. Guests filled the hall. Lauren walked down the aisle smiling. Maya sat quietly near the back. Ethan stood at the front, but his eyes kept moving. He was watching the guests. Then he saw him, the family lawyer, standing near the entrance, watching Maya. Not Lauren. Not Ethan. Maya. Ethan's jaw tightened. The lawyer noticed him looking. Then he smiled. A small cold smile. And walked away. Maya saw it too. She stood. Ethan. He turned. Did you see him? Yes. Who is he? Maya looked at the lawyer disappearing through the doors. Then she whispered. He is the reason Black Harbor never really ended. Before Ethan could respond, Maya's phone vibrated. One new message. No number. No name. Only a photograph. It showed Maya years earlier standing beside the rescued military team. And underneath it were 7 words. You should have stayed forgotten, Maya Carter. Her face went cold. Then another message arrived. Ask your father what he did. Maya slowly lowered the phone. For years she had believed her family simply misunderstood her. Now she was beginning to wonder if her family had been hiding something from her too. And suddenly the wedding was no longer about Lauren. It was about a secret that had survived for years. A secret that someone was willing to expose everything to protect. The wedding music continued. But Maya could barely hear it. She stood near the back of the room with her phone in her hand. The message was still on the screen. Ask your father what he did. She read it again. Then again. Her father. For years, Maya had believed her father simply did not understand her. He thought her work was strange. He thought she was hiding because she had failed. He had never asked serious questions. Or so she thought. Now she was not so sure. Across the room, Lauren was smiling for photographs. Ethan stood beside her. But his eyes kept moving toward Maya. He knew something was wrong. When the photographer called for the next picture, Ethan quietly stepped away. He walked toward Maya. What did the message say? Maya locked her phone. Nothing. Maya. She looked at him. It mentioned my father. Ethan's expression became serious. What did it say? She repeated the message. Ethan was silent. Then he said, we need to talk to him. Maya nodded. But before they could move, someone touched her shoulder. It was her father. Richard. He looked nervous. Maya, he said quietly. She stared at him. What did you do? Richard's face changed. What? The message said I should ask you. He looked around. Then he lowered his voice. Not here. Maya's eyes narrowed. Then where? Outside. Maya followed him into a quiet hallway. Ethan stayed nearby. Richard looked like a man who had suddenly become much older. I didn't know this would come back, he whispered. Maya felt her heart sink. What would come back? Richard rubbed his face. Black Harbor. Maya froze. Her father knew the name. That was all the proof she needed. You knew. Richard looked down. Yes. How? I was involved. Maya stared at him. You were never in the military. I didn't say I was. Then what were you? Richard took a slow breath. I worked with the company that handled the security contracts. Maya remembered the old files. Her father had always owned a small business. At least that was what he told everyone. But years ago that business had worked with private security teams. Richard continued. I didn't know what Black Harbor really was at first. What did you know? Only that several military teams were being moved through a dangerous area. And the leak. Richard looked at her. I knew there was a leak. Maya's voice became colder. Did you cause it? No. Did you help the person who caused it? Richard closed his eyes. I made one mistake. What mistake? I trusted the wrong man. Maya felt anger rising. Who? Richard did not answer. Dad. He finally looked at her. The family lawyer. Maya's heart stopped. The same man she had seen watching her. The same man who had accessed the old files. The same man Ethan had identified. Maya stepped back. How long have you known? Richard shook his head. I suspected him years ago. Years. I didn't have proof. You let me believe you knew nothing. I was trying to protect you. Maya almost laughed. Protect me. Her voice broke. You watched Lauren call me a nobody for years. Richard looked ashamed. I didn't know how to explain the truth. You could have told me you believed me. He had no answer. Maya turned away. For the first time she realized that her father's silence had not been simple weakness. He had been afraid. But fear had consequences. And she had carried those consequences for years. Ethan walked closer. Richard, what exactly happened during Black Harbor? Richard looked at him. You were there. Yes. Richard studied him. Then he nodded. You were one of the men Maya protected. Ethan said nothing. Richard continued. The lawyer was working with another company. He had access to information about troop movements. Why would he leak it? Money. Maya shook her head. That doesn't explain everything. Richard looked at her. No. He reached into his jacket. Then he pulled out a small envelope. I kept this for years. Maya stared at it. What is it? Proof. Her hands became cold. She opened the envelope. Inside was a small memory card. And a handwritten note. The note contained only one sentence. If they ever come looking for Maya, give her this. Maya looked at her father. Who wrote this? Richard swallowed. Your grandfather. Maya's heart began pounding. Her grandfather had died years ago. She had always believed his death was unrelated to Black Harbor. Now she was not sure. What did Grandpa know? Richard looked away. Too much. Maya's hands tightened around the envelope. What happened to him? Richard's silence answered before his words did. He was investigating the money. What money? The money that was paid to the lawyer. Maya looked at Ethan. Ethan's expression was hard. How much? Richard shook his head. Enough to ruin several people. Maya looked at the memory card. What's on this? Everything. They found a private room. Ethan closed the door. Maya inserted the card into a laptop. There were dozens of files. Photographs. Bank records. Messages. Names. Dates. Locations. Maya opened the first video. Her grandfather appeared on screen. He looked tired. But his voice was clear. If you're watching this, then something has gone wrong. Maya stopped breathing. Her grandfather continued. I discovered that someone inside our security network has been selling information. He named several people. Then he said something that shocked Maya. The person protecting the operation is my granddaughter, Maya. Maya stared at the screen. Ethan looked at her. Her grandfather continued. She does not know how much danger she is in. Maya's eyes filled with tears. She had never known. Not fully. Her grandfather had known her role was dangerous. He had known someone was watching her. And he had tried to protect her without telling her. The video continued. If they discover what Maya knows, they will come after her. Then the screen went black. Maya sat completely still. Ethan quietly said, There is another file. Maya opened it. A list of payments appeared. The names were shocking. The lawyer. Several business owners. A former government contractor. And one more name. Richard Carter. Maya turned toward her father. What is this? Richard's face went pale. I can explain. You took money? No. Your name is right there. I never received that money. Then why is your name on the list? Richard looked at the floor. Because they used my account. Maya stared at him. Who? Richard whispered. Your sister. Maya felt the room spin. What? Richard shook his head. Lauren didn't know what she was doing. Maya's voice became almost a whisper. What did she do? She gave the lawyer access to my old business records. Maya closed her eyes. Suddenly Lauren's strange questions made sense. The photographs. The messages. The interest in Maya's work. The lawyer's presence. It had all been connected. But there was still something Maya could not understand. Why would Lauren help him? Richard looked at her. She thought he was helping her. Helping her do what? Richard hesitated. Then he said, Destroy your reputation. Maya stared at him. Why? Because she was afraid Ethan would find out the truth about you. Maya felt tears fill her eyes. She knew. Richard nodded. She found some of your old files months ago. Ethan looked shocked. And she used them against Maya. Yes. Maya looked down at the laptop. The truth was finally coming out. But one question remained. If Lauren only wanted to humiliate her sister, why had the lawyer gone so far? Why had he accessed Black Harbor? Why had someone threatened Maya? Then Ethan opened another file. His face changed. Maya. She looked up. What? This isn't about Lauren. He turned the laptop toward her. A document was open. At the top was a recent date. 3 weeks ago. Below it was a list of targets. Maya's name was first. Ethan's was second. And Lauren's was third. Maya stared at the screen. Lauren had not been helping the enemy. She had been marked as a target too. Maya slowly stood. Then her phone rang. Unknown number. She answered. Nobody spoke for several seconds. Then a man's voice said, "Your father told you too much." Maya's blood went cold. The voice continued. "Now you have a choice." "What choice?" "You can expose the truth. Pause. Or you can save your sister." The call ended. Maya looked at Ethan. Then at her father. Then at the list on the screen. For years she had believed her family was simply ashamed of her. Now she understood something much worse. Someone had been using her family to get to her. And Lauren's wedding had never been the real target. Maya was. The phone call ended. Maya stood frozen beside the table. Her father looked terrified. Ethan looked angry. But Maya felt something else. Clarity. For years she had allowed people to misunderstand her. She had stayed quiet. She had protected secrets. She had accepted insults. But someone had just threatened her sister. That changed everything. "Where is Lauren?" Maya asked. Richard looked toward the wedding hall. "She should be with the bridesmaids." Maya started walking. Ethan followed. "Wait." Maya stopped. "What?" "You can't go in there like this." "Why not?" "Because whoever is behind this may be watching." Maya looked at him. "Then let them watch." She opened the door. The wedding hall was full. Music played softly. Guests were talking. Lauren stood near the front with several friends. She looked nervous. When she saw Maya, her expression changed. "You came back." Maya walked toward her. "We need to talk." Lauren crossed her arms. "About what?" "The lawyer." Lauren's face went pale. Maya noticed immediately. "You know what I'm talking about." Lauren looked around. "Not here." Maya nodded. "That is what I thought." Ethan stood behind Maya. Lauren looked at him. "Ethan, what is going on?" He did not answer. Instead he looked toward the guests. Several former military members had noticed the tension. One of them recognized Ethan's expression. He quietly stood. Then another stood. Maya noticed. He had seen that look before. It meant something serious was happening. Lauren whispered, "Why is everyone standing?" Maya turned. She saw the older military man from the engagement party. He walked toward her. He stopped several feet away. Then he stood straight. His face was serious. And he gave Maya a formal salute. The entire room became silent. Lauren stared at him. "What are you doing?" The man lowered his hand. He looked at Maya with respect. "Ma'am." Maya nodded. "Thank you." Lauren looked confused. Then Ethan stepped forward. He stood beside the older man. He looked at Maya. For a moment nobody spoke. Then Ethan straightened his back. And he saluted her too. Lauren's mouth opened. No words came out. One by one the former service members in the room stood. Then they saluted Maya. The guests stared. Some whispered. Others looked shocked. Maya felt uncomfortable. She had never wanted this. She looked at Ethan. "Please." But Ethan shook his head. "No." His voice was calm. "You spent years protecting people who never knew your name." He looked around the room. They deserved to know who protected them. Maya's eyes filled with tears. Lauren stared at her sister. "What is happening?" Ethan turned toward Lauren. "Your sister saved my team." Lauren shook her head. "No." "Yes." "She works security." Ethan nodded. "She does." Lauren looked confused. "Then how?" Ethan answered simply. "Because you never understood what her job was." The room remained silent. Ethan continued. Maya Carter was the senior protection officer during Black Harbor. Several guests gasped. Lauren looked at Maya. "That's impossible." Maya said nothing. Ethan continued. "My team was trapped." He paused. "We had almost no way out." His eyes remained on Maya. "She found a route. She coordinated our evacuation. She stayed behind while the rest of us moved. She took enormous risks to get us out." Lauren's face changed. Ethan's voice became softer. "I was one of the people she saved." Maya looked down. She did not want praise. But Ethan was not finished. "I spent years trying to find her." Lauren whispered. "You knew her?" "No." Ethan shook his head. "Not until tonight." He looked at Maya. "But I remembered her voice." Maya looked up. Their eyes met. For a moment the room disappeared. Maya remembered that night. The dark road. The radio. The sound of vehicles. The fear in Ethan's voice. She remembered telling him to keep moving. She remembered staying behind. She remembered thinking she might not survive. But she had. And she had never told anyone. Not even her family. Lauren stepped backward. So she lied to us? Maya looked at her. No. Lauren's voice became louder. She let us think she was nobody. Maya answered quietly. You never asked. That sentence hit harder than any insult. Lauren's face turned red. But why? Because my work was private. You could have told me. I couldn't. Lauren looked toward their parents. Did you know? Their mother shook her head. Richard lowered his eyes. I knew some things. Lauren stared at him. You knew. Richard said nothing. Lauren began crying. I was the only person who didn't know. Maya looked at her sister. No. Lauren wiped her eyes. You were all lying to me. Maya shook her head. We were protecting information. Lauren looked at Ethan. Why didn't you tell me? Because I didn't know. Lauren laughed bitterly. This is insane. Then she looked at Maya. You let me humiliate you. Maya's eyes filled with sadness. Yes. Why? Because I thought you would eventually stop. Lauren looked away. I didn't. No. Maya's voice remained calm. You didn't. The room became silent again. Then Ethan's phone rang. He answered. His expression changed. What? He listened. Then he looked at Maya. We have a problem. Maya immediately understood. What happened? The lawyer is gone. Richard's face became pale. What? He left the venue. Ethan continued listening. Then he said, no. Pause. Do not approach him. He ended the call. Maya stared at him. What did he do? Ethan looked at Richard. He accessed the old Black Harbor files. Richard closed his eyes. He found them. Maya knew exactly what that meant. What files? Ethan answered. The ones that identify everyone involved. Maya's heart began beating faster. And your name is on them. Maya looked toward the wedding guests. Someone had already leaked her identity. Now someone had access to the full records. If the files were released, people connected to the old operation could be exposed. Some were still working. Some had families. Some were still in danger. Maya turned toward the door. I have to go. Ethan stepped in front of her. No. Maya looked at him. I know that look. You can't do this alone. I've done it before. And almost died. Maya said nothing. Ethan's voice softened. You don't have to carry everything alone anymore. Maya looked at him. For years she had been alone. Even when surrounded by family. Even when surrounded by people. She had carried everything quietly. Now someone was offering to stand beside her. She nodded. Then come with me. Ethan nodded. But before they could leave, Lauren stepped forward. Maya. Maya stopped. Lauren looked broken. I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything. No. Lauren shook her head. I do. She took a breath. I called you nobody. Maya looked at her. I was wrong. Maya said nothing. I was jealous. Her voice cracked. I thought you were hiding because you had failed. Maya's eyes softened. I know. I wanted to be better than you. You don't have to be. Lauren looked at her. What? You don't have to be better than me. Maya stepped closer. You just have to be yourself. Lauren began to cry. For the first time, Maya saw her sister without the pride. Without the anger. Just a frightened woman who had spent years trying to prove she mattered. Maya hugged her. It was not forgiveness. Not yet. But it was a beginning. Then Ethan's phone rang again. This time the caller was his former commander. Ethan answered. He listened. His face became serious. Then he looked directly at Maya. What? Maya asked. Ethan slowly lowered the phone. He found the person who ordered the Black Harbor leak. Maya's heart stopped. Who? Ethan looked at Richard. Then at Lauren. Then back at Maya. The order came from someone inside your family. The room went completely silent. Maya stared at her father. Richard shook his head. No. Ethan continued. The evidence is clear. Maya could barely breathe. Who? Ethan's phone vibrated again. A new message appeared. He read it. Then his expression changed completely. Maya stepped closer. What does it say? Ethan turned the phone toward her. There was one name on the screen. Richard Carter. Maya stared at her father. Her father looked devastated. I didn't do it. Maya wanted to believe him. But the evidence said otherwise. And then Richard whispered something that made the entire room go silent. I know whose name is on that account. Maya looked at him. Whose? Richard's voice broke. Your grandfather's. Maya froze. The wedding was supposed to be about Lauren. Instead, the past had returned. And now the truth was pointing toward a dead man. A dead man who could no longer defend himself. Unless there was one final secret her family had never told her. Maya stared at the phone. One name filled the screen. Richard Carter. Her father. For several seconds nobody spoke. Lauren looked at her father. No. Richard shook his head. I didn't do it. Ethan remained silent. Maya slowly turned toward Richard. Then why is your name there? Richard looked broken. I don't know. You must know something. I don't. His voice cracked. I swear. Maya wanted to believe him. He was still her father. But too many secrets had appeared in one night. Black Harbor. The lawyer. The hidden files. The payments. Her grandfather. And now her father's name. Ethan stepped closer. We need to leave. Richard looked at him. Why? Because whoever leaked the information knows we're here. Maya nodded. He understood. The wedding was no longer safe. Then Lauren spoke. What about me? Everyone looked at her. She stood alone near the wedding stage. Her wedding dress was still perfect. Her makeup was still flawless. But her face had changed. She looked frightened. Ethan walked toward her. You need to come with us. Lauren shook her head. No. Lauren. I can't leave. She looked around the room. All these people came for me. Maya walked toward her. This isn't your fault. Lauren laughed sadly. Isn't it? He looked at Maya. I humiliated you. Yes. I showed everyone those pictures. Yes. I told them you were nobody. Maya said nothing. Lauren's eyes filled with tears. And now everyone knows you were the person who saved Ethan. Maya gently answered. That doesn't make you responsible for everything. Lauren looked down. But I helped him. You didn't know. I should have known. Maya shook her head. You were trying to hurt me. Lauren nodded. Yes. And that was wrong. I know. Maya took her hand. But you can still choose what happens next. Lauren looked at her sister. For the first time she did not see an enemy. She saw family. Then the wedding doors suddenly opened. The family lawyer walked inside. Everyone turned. He looked calm. Almost too calm. He held a black folder in one hand. Richard stepped forward. You. The lawyer smiled. Richard. You need to leave. The lawyer ignored him. His eyes moved toward Maya. I believe the time for hiding is over. Ethan stepped between them. Don't move. The lawyer stopped. Then he laughed quietly. You think you can stop this? Ethan's voice was firm. Yes. The lawyer looked around the room. Do you know how many people are connected to this? No, Ethan answered. But I do. He opened the folder. And I have enough evidence to destroy all of them. Maya looked at the folder. What do you want? The lawyer smiled. Your cooperation. You threatened me. I warned you. You threatened my sister. His smile disappeared. Your sister made her own choices. Lauren stepped forward. No. Everyone looked at her. Lauren's voice shook. She didn't. The lawyer frowned. She gave you information. She didn't know what it was. She gave me access. Lauren looked at Maya. I thought he was helping me. Maya nodded. I know. The lawyer laughed. You were easy to use. Lauren's face fell. That sentence finally broke something inside her. She had spent years trying to look powerful. Now she realized she had been nothing more than a tool. She looked at the lawyer. You lied to me. Yes. You said you could ruin Maya. I could. But you wanted something else. The lawyer said nothing. Lauren's eyes narrowed. You wanted her files. The lawyer's silence confirmed it. Maya stepped forward. Why? The lawyer looked at her. Because your grandfather left something behind. Maya's heart stopped. The memory card? No. The lawyer smiled. Something much more important. Richard whispered. Don't. Maya turned toward him. What? Richard looked terrified. Don't ask him. But Maya did. What did Grandpa leave? The lawyer answered. A list. Maya waited. A list of every person who took money during Black Harbor. Ethan looked at him. And one name was never revealed. Maya's eyes narrowed. Whose? The lawyer looked directly at Richard. Richard closed his eyes. The lawyer said, "Your father's." Maya froze. Richard stepped forward. "No." The lawyer laughed. "You still lie." Maya looked at her father. "Dad." Richard's eyes filled with tears. "I didn't take the money." "Then why is your name on the list?" "Because I was trying to stop them." The room became silent. Richard finally told the truth. Years ago he had discovered the leak. He had tried to investigate it. But the people behind it threatened his family. They used his name, his business, his accounts. They made it look like he was part of the crime. Richard had stayed silent because he believed speaking would put Maya in danger. But there was one thing he had never told her. Her grandfather had discovered the truth too. And he had hidden the final evidence. Not in a bank. Not in a computer. Not in a safe. He had hidden it with Maya. Years ago. Without telling her. Maya remembered something. A small wooden box. Her grandfather had given it to her when she was 20. She had kept it in storage for years. She had never opened it. He suddenly understood. The box. Richard looked at her. "What box?" "My grandfather gave me a box." The lawyer's face changed. Maya noticed. "You know about it." He stepped forward. Ethan immediately blocked him. Maya reached into her bag. She had brought the small key with her. It was always attached to an old chain. He had never understood why. Now she did. The lawyer's face turned pale. "No." Maya looked at him. "You're afraid of a box." He shook his head. "You don't understand." "I think I finally do." She held up the key. The lawyer suddenly moved. Ethan stopped him. The room erupted in shouting. Security rushed in. The lawyer was restrained. For the first time he looked afraid. 2 days later the truth became public. The evidence from the box matched the files. The lawyer had organized the leak. He had paid several people. He had used Richard's accounts to hide the money. He had manipulated Lauren. He had tried to expose Maya because he believed she still had evidence. The final records cleared Richard. They also cleared Maya. The Black Harbor operation was finally understood. Maya's role was confirmed. She had not been a simple security guard. She had been the person who saved Ethan's team. But Maya never celebrated. He did not want fame. He did not want interviews. She simply wanted peace. Lauren's wedding was cancelled. Ethan stayed with her for a while. But eventually Lauren made a difficult choice. She called off the relationship. Not because Ethan had done anything wrong. Because she realized she needed to become someone better before she could marry anyone. She moved away. She started over. Her parents stayed in contact with Maya. Her father apologized. Not once. Many times. But Maya knew apologies could not erase years of silence. Trust had to be rebuilt. Fully. And Lauren? She lost almost everything. Her wedding. Her reputation. Her friends. The perfect image she had spent years building. But she gained something she had never had. Honesty. Months later Lauren visited Maya. They sat together at a small cafe. Lauren looked nervous. "I used to think you were nobody." Maya smiled faintly. "I remember. I was wrong." "Yes." Lauren laughed softly. "You really don't make things easy." Maya smiled. "You didn't make things easy either." They both laughed. For the first time it did not feel forced. Then Lauren looked serious. "Can I ask you something?" "What?" "Are you still working security?" Maya smiled. "Yes." Lauren shook her head. "Of course you are." Maya looked out the window. She had no interest in telling the world what she had done. She had learned something important. A person's value did not come from medals. Or titles. Or money. Or applause. It came from what they did when nobody was watching. That evening Maya returned home. There was a package waiting at her door. No return address. She opened it. Inside was an old photograph. It showed her grandfather standing beside a group of people. Maya recognized most of them. But one man was unfamiliar. She turned the photograph over. There was a handwritten message. "Your grandfather wasn't the one who started Black Harbor." Maya's heart stopped. Below that was another sentence. "He was the one who ended it." Then her phone rang. Unknown number. Maya answered. A man's voice spoke quietly. "Your grandfather left one last secret." Maya said nothing. The voice continued. "And this time it concerns Ethan." The call ended. Maya slowly lowered the phone. For years she had believed the nightmare was finally over. She had been wrong. Because Black Harbor had never been the whole story. It had only been the beginning.